Did I miss something?
So go to business.google.com. Yes, perfect. Okay, cool. And go ahead and make that the largest screen. Okay, so Google Business Profile has been out for years. They called it Google My Business for a while. This helps with your ranking in organic search in the map pack. Okay, if you remember our last session, I had a list of 7 ranking factors that Google uses, and 2 of them affect Google Business Profile, and the rest of them affect your web page, and they're conversely related. So this is going to help you with the map pack, but it's also going to help you use your IDX website to get in stronger with the map pack. So yes, go to edit profile first. And what I want to do is walk through this slowly with you, Brian.
Okay.
So right there, you've got the top of the screen. You've got your, well, you're moving around a lot. You
Oh,
got
sorry.
the name of your business. Sorry.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't know if I was muted or not. I don't ever share the screen, so
Okay, you're good.
everything's switched on.
If you're uncomfortable, I can share from my side.
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. So one thing he has there is he has his business name perfect. He has his business categories, which is great. And most people have just real estate agent. If you are a brokerage, you can be agency or consultant. The more categories you have, the better. Description is great. This is incredibly important that you put a good description in about your business. Now you can have ChatGPT help write it for you, but I think it's better to have your personal details in there, and then GPT could maybe help shine it up. But a description is really important. Opening date. A lot of people miss this. When did you get into real estate? Because a business that's been around longer ranks a little bit better, just a tiny, tiny little bit. So if you're a brand new business, they're not going to show you maybe as much as something that's been around 15, 20 years. Okay. Contact information, incredibly important to have there. Okay. Contact information. Now you've got 3 phone numbers there. I don't know about that, but having at least one is important. If you don't have that, change it. Your website. Of course, you want to have your website available. I use this feature a lot, and it takes me right to the restaurant's website, and I can see their menu, what I'm going to have for dinner for the night, things of that nature. Now, Brian went ahead and put his social profiles on here, which is really good. Any questions so far? I saw your hand, Sam. Okay.
I was
So
just
you want to be
adjusting
sure.
adjusting my screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I saw a hand move. I just didn't. By the way, I'm rubbish at seeing the chat. So if you have a question, just jump in and ask. Because I'll see the chat later on and be like, oh, I should have noticed that. Having your social profile links is really good here. It shows a more robust profile. Google is really looking to see how much you interact with their service. Okay. So if you don't have these on here, they could depreciate your site because, well, he really doesn't seem like a legit business. Okay. Short name, great. Now, location. There's some people who don't want their location on here, and this screws up so many people if they change brokerages. When you change that location, it can sometimes really hang you up. Okay. My location is for my team. I'm not looking to ever change brokerages, but my team will stay in the same address no matter what I do. Okay. Who's been through problems with Google Business trying to verify? You got to wait for that silly postcard to show up. Or I had one user the other day apparently had to walk Google through her office with the laptop, just showing them I really am a legitimate office to try to get past the approval steps. If you have to wait for the postcard, then please talk to whoever's at your front desk and tell them there's something very important coming. Don't throw it away. Please be sure it gets to me, because that postcard has held up so many businesses. Service areas, great. Having multiple service areas is really good.
Bob.
Okay. Now here I'm going to stop you. Sorry?
Question, how do you get the short name on there?
Actually, I think that's just something you can ask for. I don't know. I don't know that I have a short name on mine. I saw that and I was like, oh, that was interesting.
Oh,
And
well, it
I
says
actually
right
don't have my
there, you
social
can delete
profiles
it,
either.
but you can't add again. So it must be a previous feature that Google had, because I don't have it as an
Right.
option. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that and I kind of put a little note to myself that I don't think I have that. So scroll down gently and let's go to hours of operation. I'm going to urge you to put in hours of operation here, and don't you dare put 24/7. I would put like 9 to 7 or whatever, click the first option there. And if you're open those days, mark them don't unclose them. And it's okay on a Sunday or a Saturday to work a little shorter, that's fine. But like when I'm driving to a restaurant or a store, my car will tell me this store may close within 1 hour of you getting there. The hours of this store have changed. Now, that's great. It's going to take a few minutes for them to double check it and see. Scroll down gently. You want to put in special hours. This is another thing that Google just wants to see you interacting with their product from time to time. So go ahead and mark whether you're open on Thanksgiving Day. Just click review and click closed. And then Black Friday, are you open or closed?
I'll be open.
Okay, click review. No, for Black Friday. Black Friday.
Oh.
Yeah. Leave that alone then, if that's fine. Christmas Day.
Will be
You're gonna be
closed.
open? Okay, closed. Boxing Day for the British.
I will be
Closed
open.
or open. Okay. New Year's Eve. And it's okay on like New Year's Eve if you want to close at 2 in the afternoon or 4, whatever you want to do, that's fine. New Year's Day, open or closed. And again, it just wants to see if you're interacting with the product. MLK Day. Okay, so you're open all that. Save. And from time to time, you want to come back and review this because let's say by next May, you want to go take Thanksgiving and all those dates off because Google wants to see you actively using their product.
Okay.
Okay, they will actually, say like, oh wow, look, he's updating versus, Stephanie over there who's not touched a thing.
Right.
Okay. So you can have additional sort of hours here for your drive-through, for whatever you're doing differently. Like if you're a restaurant or a bar and your kitchen closes at 10, but the bar's open till 2, you can put kitchen hours, things like that. I've seen like CVS will have their store hours versus their pharmacy hour, things like that.
So online service hours, should that be should that be something I select or no?
Well, if I was your business coach, I would tell you I don't want you working every hour of the day.
Okay.
Now, if somebody told me that, I'd tell them to shush because I do work almost every hour of the day. People who know me are like, Bob, take your own advice. So totally up to you there.
Okay, I'll leave that one alone.
Okay. Okay. Now more from the business. Go up to more and do add. So do you identify as any of these elements of being in business?
I do not.
Okay. Because that's something they want to track. So go ahead and just click save that you reviewed it or cancel either one. Okay. Accessibility. Do you have an accessible bathroom in your
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
It's already marked. Yeah, you're fine. Now, do you have a single person bathroom or multiple person bathroom?
It's 2 bathrooms.
Okay, so no gender neutral. You click on crowd, and you can click here whether you're friendly or not friendly towards different people. Thank
I don't know
you.
what
Save.
safe space is, I guess.
And
welcome-
that just
they're
lets
welcome
people
to
know
come
that you're
in.
aware of who.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They're welcome to come in. Is that what that means?
Yeah, and that's just another thing you can do. Planning ahead. Appointment required, I think, is important because I don't want to get a phone call and say, hey, come show me a house right now. And you're like, I don't have time right now.
Right.
So
Okay. And then service options.
service options. Okay. And do you speak any other languages?
Do not. I speak English though.
Okay.
And Southern is on there.
Sarcasm is not listed there, so I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
Okay. So that pretty much covers that section. Having that section filled out is the basis of everything else you're going to do in the Google Business Profile.
Okay. So just go through there every once in a while and just make sure that nothing has changed.
Dust it off. Right. Nothing has changed. Change those holidays. Interact with the product. Poke the bear and let it know you're still here. Now go ahead and close that part down for me, please. Okay, go to read reviews. Now you have 88 reviews. Dang, good. Okay.
Yeah, those
So
aren't
one
easy.
from Brian Hunt. Wonder who that guy is.
Yeah.
So and you'll notice that one person there is a local guide. Being a local guide is really good because they won't tell me that local guide reviews mean more than a normal review, but I think it does. You know, they'll never admit anything, but that's my thought. So you want to be sure you answer each one of these, and it looks like you've done a good job with that. Even if you get a crap review that says, you know, Justin just is the worst person in the whole world and I can't stand him. You want to respond to that and go, thank you so much for your opinion. I'm going to file it appropriate. Something, you know, something like, yeah. So you want to be sure you respond to every review that you can.
Okay.
And I leave reviews for folks that, you know, when something isn't right, I put it on here. If they make it right, I go ahead and say something nice. But, you know, this is having all 5 stars can look bad. You eventually, every once in a while, want to have a 1 star or a 4 star because it throws the algorithm off. If you only have 5 stars, well, is he stuffing the review box? Is he getting his mom and his sister to write reviews? So having one that isn't quite nice every once in a while, we have a 1 star review for somebody who couldn't get financed. Totally not our fault that he couldn't get financed. I mean, sorry, your credit is crap, but we took the 1 star hit for that. Okay, fine. It helped us get to like a different average, which isn't 5 altogether.
I have a 1 star review for another agent with the same name in a different state, but it got flagged
Okay.
account and they will not remove it.
And we end up with that, and we also end up with like, hey, I know my client did a review and it's not showing up.
Right.
I don't know how to get around those. I do have a URL that I can send out where you can pay $45 to talk to a Google person, and I don't know if the Google person actually can fix that. But I have heard a lot about ghost reviews that just never show up. You know, I sat there with them while they did it. Now, one thing I will tell you when you ask for a review is suggest the language you want them to use. Ask them to recommend you. Ask them to say how professional you are. Ask them to say, you know, how educated you are, something of that nature. Not just, you know, Brian's a great person. I really like him. Because there are weighted words in these reviews. The most popular words will be standard articles like the, a, house. Net house is a noun, but you know, there'll be some words that just appear all the time. But the words that are more important are the weighted words like professional, highly professional, you know, educated, things of that nature, that if you can get them to say those, yes, very professional. If you can get them to, you can even like pre-write the review for them and say, hey, would you recommend me? Would you say something like this? Because those words are really powerful in the review algorithm.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Bob,
And
I have a
Scott's just,
question.
go ahead, Doug.
How do you become a local guide?
I'll show you that in just a little bit. Yeah, let's focus on this. But local guide is basically somebody like on my phone, I have Google Maps, and whenever I go somewhere, it knows and it says, hey, this restaurant, do you want to tell us what you ate there and how good it was? And the more you do that, the more, you know, they go, oh, you should get local guide points, which really, I don't think local guide points have ever got me anything, but other than like, hey, I'm a local guide, I got a merit badge. But it's just, you know, when you go somewhere, your phone will prompt you, hey, tell us about this restaurant or tell us about this store. What, you know, and if you've reviewed it before, excuse me, if you've already reviewed them, it'll say, did it change? Hey, you took this picture. What dish was that? What food was that? What product was that? And you get extra little points for that. But I think then when I go review, let's say I go to a nice restaurant tonight. Can you tell I'm hungry? If I go to a restaurant tonight, it's going to ask me to review that restaurant. I think because I'm a guide, it gives it that review a little bit more punch. Okay, Brian, where are we going?
Sorry. I was just looking on the right hand column just to see.
Brian, you're off course. You're off course. Okay, now messages. I don't personally use messages. I suspect this is very much a chat feature that I just don't use yet. You can use. Does anybody use messages? Anybody want to talk to this? I think there's enough other ways people can get a hold of me, and I just don't need another one. Okay, add photos. Photos, I mean, there was so much push about 2 years ago to geotag our photos and put them on, and be sure that they have all the tags into them for every property you've ever sold, things of that nature. And that's still a good strategy. I would suggest you put in no more than 4 or 5 photos a day. I had one client who actually uploaded 200 photos and didn't get suspended, but they don't want to see you like just jamming their site. So 3 or 4 or 5 photos is fine. And that can be when you go to the nice restaurant tonight and you take a picture of your food, or you just take a selfie of yourself in the place you're at. Those count as photos. You know, if I go to a nice restaurant or a nice store, I will, just kind of click around, get their menu, get their, their decor, whatever. The front of house is important too. Front of the building with the sign. It's a good picture to get, and just post it. And for you, you want to have, I'm sorry, for you here, you want to be sure you have your, go back to add photo again. You want to be sure you have your logo and your front of building or cover photo. There.
Yes, I kind of struggle with that because I added it before, and I don't think that it like put it in the order that I wanted it to.
Gotcha. So that can be something you can go into the photos and try to manipulate. I'm not sure you'll be how successful.
Yeah, and I think that's in here. I think, yeah,
So
see, it's got all my photos in there.
Okay.
But
And you'll see here there are photos by the owner and photos that, like a patron might have put on.
yeah,
We had one person, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so these are the photos I took. I try to have that as inside the building, but this isn't inside our office, and this obviously.
Right.
So
the old user interface was much better for, being able to work with photos. I hate it sometimes on this user interface. Okay, stay put for just a second. Do you see on the right side where it says see outside? And that's the Google Drive-by if you're building.
Yeah.
I have one client whose drive-by is with the old building. The building is the same, but it was a Keller Williams, and now it's not. She's an independent.
Mm.
And the drive-by has a date on it from 2017. We've gone in and requested that they drive again. And there's a way to go in there and say, please update this photo. Don't know how long it'll take them, but if you have a dated drive-by, you can request a new drive-by from the Google people. And she's furious because everybody who goes to, look her up looks like an old brokerage. And she wants to know how to override that. And I'm like, I honestly, we can't go override the Google car unless we get it to come back.
Could you change the service address? That won't do it.
The service address is that is still her building. It's just she's taken one sign down and put up another.
Mm.
And she's pissed off that the old sign still shows. And I would be too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to performance. Ooh, okay. So seasonal stuff happens. November's not done. Don't freak out that November looks lower because we're not done with November yet. So that number isn't final. This will show you how many people are coming and seeing you. So you scroll down gently.
Bob, can I mention something? So one thing, they never changed the time period up above, which depending on you would dictate what information you want.
Yes.
And for me, I didn't realize that I kept reading like a 9-month time frame. And I was like, I don't see much of any changes. So I've just been doing 60 to 90 days. That way you can actually track and see where you're at.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and what I tell people, especially with like Google Analytics and some of these other things, you'll see the end of the chart just dive bombing. Like, oh my God, it's horrible. The month hasn't ended yet. Don't freak. Okay. So gently scroll down on this one. Okay. So in the time period, 1,900 people have seen your site. 55% came through a Google search. 30% were a desktop versus, I'm sorry, 55 was mobile, 30% desktop. 10% was inside maps on mobile, and 6% was inside maps on desktop. So obviously mobile rules, and you're doing well with Google search more than Google Maps, which is good. Okay. You basically had an open house in 6 months that attracted 1,900 people, and you didn't have to staff it. Now, you may not know who all those people are unless you're running some sort of tracking, cookie on your site.
Right.
These are the search terms that they found you through. So if that's a listing of yours or if that's an area you serve, you want to be sure that you have videos and stuff around that so that you can draw more people in about those.
Say that one more time.
So this Killen Road, is that a listing you had?
No,
452?
that's the address, the office address.
Office address. Okay. So I would just go out and make some content around, hey, our office is here. I
Okay.
would do something about Blythewood, South Carolina. I
Yeah.
would just be sure you're hitting the keywords that people are finding you at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you
so
can, if you want to dwell in on this, you can see more and see all the rest of them.
So these are the keywords that my Google My Business page is showing up for.
Yes. And they're all less than 15, but it's helpful. I wouldn't change anything. I would just go make some content around some of it.
Okay. And make content on Google My Business page or make content on my website.
I would make some Google My Business posts about it, and I would probably maybe put something on my blog. Just
Okay.
double cover it. And we'll get to in a second on how to post that. Over here, let's go to you've got things up here that I don't really use, like calls, messages, bookings. I don't really use any of those. I mean, they may call my number from here, but I don't think they do that much. So 6 people use the website and then just push send and called.
Yeah. Okay.
Bookings, directions will tell them, like, hey, I want to go to the office. 224 people asked for directions. That's interesting. And then how many people have clicked from here to your website? Let's see what that one is. That'd be one I'd really want to drive up. 88 people in 6 months. That's better than a lot.
So how do you drive that?
Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to add more products and services. So
Okay.
products and services help drive that.
Okay.
So next we're going to close this little box down. And the next row is products.
Oh, okay. Oh,
We're going to go to products next, please.
okay. Batteries. When I
Sorry,
open.
I blinked. Can you show that again? Where was, right there.
Yes, performance. And okay, so you actually have some products here. Excellent. Thank you. So on a separate tab, open your website up. Just leave this tab here and open a second tab and go to your website. Yeah, leave it wide, please.
Okay.
And go to the front end of your website. And pick any town you like. And show me all the things in that town that are less than $500,000.
Okay. So pick a town from it's just anywhere. So just like search
Go into your find property. In the middle of your screen, go to find property or search, either one.
Yeah.
And pick a city you like. Who's your website provider?
Dynamic.ex.
Okay, it should work then.
So we'll pick
If
Blythewood.
you said Sierra, I'd have to stop you because it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Okay. So
And
Blythewood.
anything under 500,000, under 500. And click search. Okay, grab that URL, okay, I want to stop you for just a second. Do you see where it says HP 500,000? And
Yes.
it's got the URL is built around what you just put in. That's a query string URL. You should be able to use that. Take that URL, go back to your products. This is why I like Real Geeks, because their URLs are easy to read. Okay, and you're gonna do an add a product. The little blue button, add a product.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I'm going to teach you how to do here is just go to your website and just do some searching. Come out here and make a product that equals that. So you're going to say here, whatever name of the city was, homes for sale in whatever city under 500.
Okay. So homes for sale.
Yeah. We don't discount for spelling.
And I'm a horrible typer.
especially with like 20 people watching you. That's fine.
Right.
Don't get nervous. Do not put any commas in this, please. Take that comma back out. Commas are usually delimiters, meaning this one data element is separate from the other data element.
Okay.
And even though I don't know that it would hurt you, I just don't put commas anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, select category. And you've already got your categories built, so some people may not have categories here. Just create one that says homes for sale. Either one, no, you've already got your category. You're fine.
Okay,
I'm just
okay,
saying if
gotcha.
we didn't have
Okay.
categories, they could just create one called homes for sale.
Hey, Bob, how do
Okay,
you
that's perfect.
create a new category?
How do you create a category? Where right there it says create new category. Do you see the first one?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So he already has some populated. He obviously knew I was going to ask him to help me today. So, but if he didn't, it would just be blank there, and you could say create new category, and you could just call it homes for sale. Now, I never put a price in. It's optional.
Okay.
In description, you can write up, Blythewood and why it's great and why people want to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to drop that URL in the last field there. And hopefully you have a picture of a house from your area because you're a great listing agent. The house doesn't even have to be in Blythewood, just a house that you like. And this is where you take your IDX website and put it out there and exploit it. And why you have to have an IDX website that has the URL that's query string enabled. There's only 2 products I know that don't have the query string, and Sierra is one of them.
Yeah, so just any of these are fine. There you go.
Just for right now, just grab any of those. I mean, you can come change it later. So you just created a product. You could come back and put some rich product description in there. ChatGPT could help you write it. You want to do 2 or 3 of those a week.
Okay.
And just change the price point and just change the city and then change with pool, change with HOA, yes or no. You want to go through that special search that everybody pretty much has and just find every data element you can think of and just put them out there. And while you're at it, grab that URL and go make a WordPress or a ActiveRain blog about it too.
So if you're
Yeah.
farming an area, is that something you could do to, I don't know, encourage activity
Yes.
from that subdivision?
Yes. Yes. This is what's called a digital mayor strategy. I stole this from Gary Vaynerchuk, who probably either came up with it or stole it from somebody else.
Say the
And,
repeat the
you-
word. What was it? Digital what?
Digital mayor. You don't want to run for office. It's a thankless job. But if somebody looks up your town, they're going to find you everywhere. Leslie is really good about this with videos and pictures. When you Google, I think it's Houston Gay Realtor, and you look at the images, which a lot of people look at image searches, he's like the top, like 15 of the top pictures are him. Because he's tagging his pictures where most people aren't. Okay, so products, you just want to come add 2 or 3 products a week and just go to your IDX website and search a few times and put some stuff up here. Have a happy picture of a house. Don't try to repeat the house over and over. I did that. I don't think it's hurting me, but I did accidentally repeat a house. Any questions on product? This is going to help drive people when they click on your picture. They'll click on these pictures and go to your website. So when you're asking, how do I drive my website numbers up? More and more and more products.
And you're saying 3 to 5 a week or 3 to 5 a day?
I think you could do 2 or 3 a day. I don't think they'd get mad at that. Here's the thing. Once they get mad at you, I have no idea what to do. Because if they delist you, I don't know how to get it back. So just be cautious. We're all kind of walking through a minefield here. And I'm going to tell you not to go rambunctious and be like, I did 15. Oops. Because I don't know how to get it back once it's gone.
So these products that you list, people will see them on your business page? Or
Yes.
they will just pop up in searches when they search for an area that your product is listed for?
I believe it has the possibility of doing both, but mostly I know it from the page of your website. I'm sorry, from the page of your Google My Business.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go ahead and close this for a second here for me, please, Brian. Scroll down gently on the right-hand side. You see all the products there. That's where I know it's going to show up. I think it has the possibility also showing up in some organic searches. I can't guarantee you that. Does it help?
Yes, that does. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, back up here. The next thing you want to do is services. And you want to come dust your services off every 3 months or so. Because if you go to a restaurant, one of the things they're going to ask you as you're reviewing is, hey, do they serve tacos? Do they serve steak? Do they serve steak tacos? Do they serve chicken? Do they serve chicken? And you're going to say yes, no, yes, no. That restaurant may not have put chicken or tacos on their page. So it's going to come up as a suggestion to the restaurant owner. Hey, do you serve chicken? Do you serve chicken tacos? Is everybody hungry yet? That's what we're going for here. So click on edit services. So somebody could have come in here and said, Brian sells, condos in the Bahamas, and he doesn't. So he needs to come take that off. So if there's suggestions, they'll appear at the top. Now, one thing Brian could do here is once you have all your categories and your services defined, that little arrow to the right, you can stack 300 characters under each of these descriptions.
Ah,
Go to
Gotcha.
ChatGPT and have it write why buyer's agent services are important. And I don't know if you know this right now, it's incredibly important. We stress buyer's agency. First-time home buyers, what they do. And you want to just limit your either Google Bard or ChatGPT to writing a 300-character insert for that. Do not take the same 300 characters and pop it into each one. Okay, pour yourself a beverage of choice and sit there for a little while watching your show and do this.
Do you have to take the Chat GPT content and then scrub it somewhere, or is it good to go if it's short like that?
Leslie uses something called Quillbot. Leslie, are you on? Leslie uses something called Quillbot, and it washes it. Quillbot.ai. And it paraphrases so that it doesn't seem so AI written. Okay, so services here are great. You could always add more services if you wanted to. There are no suggested services that you need to look at and double check. And because he's in 3 different business categories, he gets 3 sets of services. So early on, he had 3 different categories. He now gets 3 sets of services here that he can go in and put stuff under. It's a little labor intensive when you're setting it up, but once you set it up, it could really help your profile grow.
Now, you said every 3 to 6 months come in and change your services. What do you change about them?
Dust them off. Just see if anybody suggested anything. See if somebody came in and said, hey, Justin really does work in Tulsa, Oklahoma too. And you're like, no, don't know why somebody would suggest that. Because if you ignore it, Google goes, oh, he doesn't really keep his profile up. Let's not show him as much. Just while you're here, be sure nobody added something crazy that you don't really do. Okay. So let's get out of services for a second. Okay, now bookings, if you take online bookings, that's where it would be. I don't do online bookings, so this is not something I really deal with. I want them to call me or text me, either one.
Would that be something like Calendly?
I think you could tie it together.
Okay.
I've not thought of tying it together. I think they're trying to get their own version of that. So, yeah, and Google doesn't call me every week and tell me what they're thinking, unfortunately. But yeah, I've not used the bookings setup. Calls would be the same way, number of people who called you. Now, if you have a Google Voice number, then that can show up there. I do have a Google Voice number, and I can tell you everybody who calls me is a spammer. My phone is not my phone doesn't get as much spam as my Google Voice. Okay. Go ahead and close that. Okay, Q&A. Now, sometimes there'll be questions like, somebody will ask you a question about your business, and this is where you can come in and answer it. And you can also set up some basic questions like, hey, do you serve this area? Do you, help people with first-time home buyer? And you can come in and just put 4 or 5 questions in here and then give those answers. But sometimes you'll get a question through this system from somebody who's asking something about housing or whatever, and you can come in here and answer it that way.
I think the last meeting or one of the meetings you had, you said to go in there and ask your own question. And then answer it. Was that you or was that somebody else?
It doesn't sound like me, but I'll take the
Okay.
credit for it because that's really what I'm suggesting you do right now.
So what they said is you go in here and you ask your own question and answer your own question, and it's got like the
Exactly.
FAQs.
Right. And that can be a good way to like just show the product you're actually using it. But I don't recall saying that, but I will
Okay.
let you give me that credit. Okay, go ahead and click out of there, please.
So when you
Okay,
ask
there's a
your
little
own
down
question,
arrow. Sorry, go ahead.
if you're asking your own question, is it going to show up as you personally asking the question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's still going to, I suppose, give you part
Right there, you just passed it.
Yeah.
Go
some
back up,
in
Jim.
the algorithm then.
Okay, yeah.
Right there.
Hey, Bob, if I can chime in, I've done that about, all my questions I normally get asked. I go in there and ask a question and answer them, but I load it up with keywords too of
Excellent, smart.
in my answer and my question. I'll ask a question one day and then go back the next day and answer it. So that
Do
way
you flip user IDs?
what's that? I'm sorry.
So like I have a Bob McCraney user ID and I have a Texas Pride user ID. I wonder if I could ask the question from Bob McCraney and then answer from Texas Pride.
I don't know. I just answer,
Yeah.
and it shows that I answer my own question. I'm not looking for people going there for questions. I'm just trying to get the keywords built up in there.
Okay. I don't know that it would hurt you if you did it. Okay, let's get back up and finish these categories off and we'll let everybody ask more questions. Okay. Add an update. I love updates. So this is where if you have like, hey, new listing on the market, add a new offer. Could be like, hey, I'm doing a buyer seminar and events. If you're doing a shredding day, if you're doing a pie pickup, if you're doing whatever, add it in there. We do a lot of events in our company, so we're always using this feature to get events into the Google system. And what you might do is to drive SEO is you might have a link at the bottom about the event that drives back to your website.
Oops.
But these are 3 features
Hi,
on
how are
here.
you?
Events. I'm sorry?
Hi.
Hey, Bob, actually, we're running an event. I was going to ask you this question for Tuesday, like to do a seminar online. My question is should we be pushing them back to like a Zoom link to register, or is there a way of doing that? I haven't sent anything up on our website since it's new, but ultimately, do you push them to the website and let them register from there so they land in the CRM?
Yeah, I'd try to get them back to the website as much as I can get traffic to go to the website. If I have that registration tool there, I would do that. See,
Bless
sorry,
you.
I knew that was coming. I couldn't stop it. Okay, so yeah, as much as I can, I'm going to drive traffic to my site. But the offers and
Thank you.
like every time you have a new listing, put it as an update.
That's really
If you have
smart.
it just listed, just sold, put it in there. Help to buyer,
I'm
that's an
like, every
update.
time I get paid, I feel like my check is so.
Margaret, do you have a question?
No, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
And just to clarify, you're saying posted, just listed, just sold under offers?
No, not under offers, under update.
Update.
Yeah, we had 3 options here. Update. 123 Banana Street coming on the market. Click here to find out more. Send it to your website for 123 Banana Street listing. It works very much like a new product.
And you want to link that to your website.
Yeah. Okay, so who's got questions? That's basically the product overview right there.
I had a previous marketing person. They were like posting my listings on there, but then when they sold, they'd take them off because they said, that wasn't good to leave them on there.
I disagree. I'm no expert on this, but I disagree. I would go in and mark it sold, and I would have that on there. We
Okay.
spend a lot of time geotagging a lot of our photos. And for all the sales we did for the last, whatever, 14, 15 years of our company. And we went and grabbed every photo we could of every buyer or seller's house and tagged it and put our logo on it and said sold 2015, sold 2010, whatever. Just so if somebody Googles that address, it has a chance of coming up. I
Okay.
don't know if it's ever going to drive a house to us or a sale, but we did it. Any other questions on Google My Business?
How much marketing are you doing on Google over Facebook?
I do very little on Facebook anymore,
Oh, really?
other than just post to people and say hi and happy birthday and here's my funny story of the week. I've got Facebook pages for the different suburban areas I work, and some of them rank pretty well on Google, but I'm not putting any effort into it right now. I can tell you, between personal life and too many other things going on, I'm not really pushing it at all. If I have the time, I'll go to Google.
So by posting more, I'll sort of dilute this out. What other people are searching for, maybe I can take that over.
So that's
I mean, I don't
showing your
want them. I don't want
competition.
them jump into. Yeah, I don't want them jump into the competition.
Can't take that off.
Okay.
Can't take that off. So can I steal the screen back? I'm going to show you
Yeah, sure.
something I use over here. And I should have had it already up and going here, maps.google.com. So, oh, okay. Scott was saying when they're doing a review, ask them to use top realtor, best realtor, realtor near me, things like that. That would be good. So in maps, let's say, Leanne, you're in Greenville, South Carolina, right?
Yes.
So I use a product called GMB Everywhere. It's very much like Keywords Everywhere, but it's Google My Business Everywhere. And it lets you look up other people's Google My Business and see how they're doing. So if you have some competitor in town, you're like, oh my gosh, they're getting all the stuff. Let's go find out why. Okay. So that's where you get these little orange squares here. So the sponsor, I don't care about that. Jeff Cook. Is Jeff on the call? If not, let's talk about Jeff. Okay.
Talk about
Here
him.
we can do a big audit of Jeff. And it's going to ask me to sign in because I haven't used it in a couple of days. So give it a second, see if it remembers, or do I have to do it again? Okay, now we're going to do a basic audit of Jeff again. And it's going to tell me all the things about Jeff's business that it can find. The website, the phone number, the longitude, latitude. Is the business claimed and picked up? Yes. The ID that they use, that they assign to the thing. The Google Business Profile assigned, things of that nature. What is request for review list display link? Okay, GMB profile. It tells you all sorts of different things it can find about his business. And then here's external links. If you want to see a version of his website from a few weeks ago that maybe maybe he had something on the website that I shouldn't have been there, they have a cached version of the website that you can look at. You can look at his index in Google. You can look at all this sort of stuff about your competitor. Okay, and then website audits of his domains. I like to use the other two, audit reviews and audit posts. So let's go look at his reviews here. Now my hand's not on the keyboard. It's going to take over and do this. He's got 261 reviews. Dang, he's doing well. And it's going to go through and figure out the most popular words and the weighted words like I was talking about earlier. Give it a minute here. Okay, so he has 261 reviews. 3 of them have photos. The average review is 4.9, so he doesn't have a straight 5. He has 30 of those reviews are provided by Google Local Guides. And this is what I was saying earlier. I think the local guides have a little bit more weight to them. Don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing. The average rating was 4.8. And the average for the people who are rating him do 8 reviews. This is important because if your average of the people doing reviews for you if their average is like 1 or 2, that means they're not doing a lot of reviews. They just came and gave you a review. That means your mom and your aunt came and gave you a review, but they're not going out and reviewing every place they go to. So the more that this number is larger, I think is better, because Google takes that person, I think, a little more seriously. They don't call me and tell me that, but that's what I think. This is where we get to the review of the words. Home, estate, recommend is his 3rd word. That's really incredibly good. Okay. Great, Jeff, cook, they, Jeff, that's his name, house, professional. So recommend and professional are on the 1st row. So either he's prompted people to say this, or they just naturally said these things about him. But you want to get your reviews to have those weighted words mentioned in a more frequent way. Does that make sense? Okay. Doesn't mean somebody could go back and edit their review, because you can edit a review. If you got reviews on your page, you could ask your friends to go back and change the review. Hey, could you go tweak that review from a couple of years ago? Here's the link to it, and just add these words to it. So this is kind of cool to look at. Then you go look at his post audits. You want to see how many times he's posting, and this is for products, I believe. Could be updates, could be products, what he's doing on his posts. By the way, I think this tool doesn't cost me much at all. I don't remember what I paid for it. It's whatever the cost is, pay it. It's great. It also helps you kind of take some of the anxiety out of, why is Steve ranking better than me? Oh, okay, well, it's this or it's that, as opposed to just staring at the screen, wondering why this person's always beating us. Okay, so this person, they've done really good about having consistent postings periodically throughout the years. Okay, sometimes you see like a large break here where they stop posting and then they jumped and did it some more. They have 50 posts. The average words on each post is 81. None of the posts have videos. I will tell you, putting video on Google My Business is really hard. It has to be hyper short. I've not been successful at getting videos on here. They're posting almost every 2 days. Every one of his posts have a link back to his website. Every one of the posts has a link back to his website. That's really good. Average characters per post, 741. And every post has an image. That's pretty good quality there. Any questions on this?
For fun, Bob, could you show us what his posts are? Because I'm confused at what you mean by a post.
So here's his Google My Business. So kind of like we did, here's his photos. There's his reviews. But posts are going to be like products. It's not putting it up here for me the way at least I'm not seeing it. His posts are going to be like his products, like we were putting on earlier on Brian's site. Let's see if it'll trigger it this way. Keywords everywhere, it's in the way. Okay, it's not going to show it to me. Basically, what I would expect to see here is like, his houses that were open and things like that. It's got to be right in front of my eyes, and I'm just not seeing it. These are reviews. More reviews, and then what other people are searching for, and then web results. I'm not seeing it here, but his posts are going to be like his products, his updates, his invitations, things like that, events, things of that nature. I was hoping it would show it here as well, but it's not. Of course, I'm trying to demonstrate something and it doesn't work right. This is a different person's different place. Okay, so here we're seeing updates that they did. That's kind of what I was expecting the other one to show, but it didn't show it right.
So the updates are the posts then?
I'm sorry?
Those updates we're seeing are what's classified as a post then?
I'm believing it is, yeah. When you're doing a audit of their posts, I'm suspecting that's what we're looking at here, is their updates and their products. Any other questions?
How often is he posting?
He's posting every 2 days, every 1.8 days.
Or he's been doing that 100 days?
Yeah. And whoever he is, good for him, you know. But when you're looking at your area, like Greenville, South Carolina Realtor, you want to come here and see who ranks higher than you and what they're doing. And then maybe pick up some ideas. And you know, that way it gives you a little bit more, you know, understanding of what's going on so that you don't sit back and just wonder, oh my gosh, why aren't I ranking? What's going wrong?
And this is
Any
called
other questions?
My Business Everywhere.
Yeah, this is GMB everywhere. It's a Chrome extension, just like Keywords Everywhere. And I honestly don't think it cost me that much. I don't remember what the cost was. It's one of those things of, yes, I'll pay that. Thank you. You know, and just get this for me. Okay. So basically my thought for you is get your GMB up and going if you don't have it already, and then start taking your IDX website and making posts about stuff off your website. That's exactly what I would do is I'd take your IDX website and just start making products and posts and cross those two, because there's 7 data elements of how they rank your business, 2 of which apply to Google My Business, 5 of which apply to your websites, and we want to make those 2 talk to each other.
So would it make sense to do like a full blog on your website and then just do like a snippet, a few sentences? And
Yeah,
then
that'd be great. Find out more and click back to that blog.
So
Yeah.
that's what the strategy would be for those 50 posts that he was doing. That's probably what he was doing.
Every one of those posts had a link. I'm suspecting if we delve into it, those links are going to go back to his website, which is going to drive traffic to his website.
Bob, do you have any suggestions? I remember somebody I was hiring 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and he was suggesting a strategy of if you're, for example, if you're in different counties, right, you cover the different counties to have satellite offices in them, so you populate in the search. Are you familiar with that? Because I couldn't grasp what he was trying, how to accomplish that with virtual offices.
So Google Business Profile gets a little funky when you have multiple addresses. So I'm not an expert on that, and I'd hate to advise you the wrong way. I will tell you Bing Places, which is a competitor, is not screwball when it comes to multiple addresses. They're okay with it. Bing Places and Apple Maps are competitors to Google Business. There are people using each of them. We just get so Google focused that we don't look at the other two. And somebody got on Facebook once and got mad at me because they're like, Bing is only like 4% of the searches. Why are you even talking about it? If I can give you 4% of Zillow, is that worth something to you? Would you take 4% of Zillow's business? I mean, but Bob, it's not 90%. Why are we even looking at that? So as far as multiple locations, Google, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can open a new business profile for that, for the satellite, or you can try to work it together. And that's where I think Brian had multiple service areas. Maybe you just list it as a new service area, not a new physical address. But if without the physical address, it won't show up in maps. It'll just show up in the service area.
Mentioned that in order to do multiple, you have to actually have a physical address, collect that postcard, and then start a new profile from that address.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, I have something to say on that. And I wanted you to, Bob, to know, for full disclosure, I am not a real estate agent. I work with a real estate agent trying to help her to rank, okay? So we have a couple of sites. And the site that I just mentioned that we could not get a GMB is for that very same reason. As you probably know, in the last few months, I haven't heard of anyone even getting a card anymore. They're pretty much going to make you do a video. And they
I didn't know they were turning the cards off.
I haven't heard anyone getting through cards. They have
that made me more sense, because the lady the other day had to walk through with her video on her laptop.
Right. So it's a Real Geek, we have Real Geek site, and the other site she has is not. So that's where I came in with the Real Geeks with you, Bob. But it's very, very challenging. There are people, if you go online, you'll see people trying to get their legitimate business ranked in GMB, to get their legitimate business just to have a GMB, and you can't get it. So,
Right.
But what I've heard is those have been around quite a long time. So this kind of thing's not unusual. They're going to swing too far this way, and then they'll come back to where they should. But they won't even respond. They won't even return your phone calls. It's horrible. Just look on it. It's
There's a
really-
link I have. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
And they're going back on previous GMBs, GBPs, and looking at them, and people are being suspended and being taken out. That's what's happening.
Well,
right
then get your business, get your Bing Places up and going, get your Apple Maps. Now, Bing Places is good. It will ask you, do you want to tie this to your Google My Business? So when you update one, it'll update, do not tie them. Because the terms of service, which I actually looked at, says that Microsoft can add to, update, or delete your Google business profile. And you know, it'll be some subcontractor somewhere that Microsoft didn't know about, wiped out half of our Google profiles. So I run them separate, and I go make a post and make a post. But it'll ask you like 17 times about how convenient it would be if you just let us have that access. It'd be so easy for you. Don't do it.
Are you asking your clients to do double post?
I'm asking them not to let Microsoft own their world. Which, yes, I guess I'm asking them to do multiple work, but I just don't trust that big corporate somebody somewhere isn't going to push a button and then boom, our competitor's site is down. Oops. And then you're part of a class action lawsuit and you get $5 from somebody someday and you've lost your GMB. Yeah.
I'm putting all my reviews on my website. I'm working on that as well.
Yeah. Somebody had a screenshot of a review. It must have been like a Zillow or something, very nice review. And they put it in their GMB because Google can read the screenshot. And GMB said it was spamming. So I think right now, I think to Bernard was saying was they're going through some growing pains. They don't know exactly what they don't know right now. So I would have those other two profiles just hot and ready. Okay, guys, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll do more of these in December. And they'll be a little more interactive. Maybe, have just free flow of questions. Does everybody throw in what you want to ask? Cool.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Bob.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.